What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. This is the NBA Hardwood show. And of course, as you know, with the usual crew, man, going in the shades, hoop with the Christmas lights up. I got a little mustache I had to put on after mine fell off this morning. Hey, it's good. It's a Monday, Thanksgiving weekend. Hope you guys are having a good start to your week. I'm going to go right over to you, man, going. You're looking spiffy over there. Got them shades on. You had them on the Showdown show yesterday. Talk to the people about the slate, about your football Sunday, anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, if you missed out, the Showdown show is always a good time after the games or kind of while they're going on at 7 o'clock Eastern. We hop on, we hung out with Allie. She did her first DFS live show. And then BigT was there. JSURab, we had a good time, had a good laugh. So be sure to check that out next week. It's always a good time while we're sweating the games and how they close out. It wasn't the best NFL Sunday for me. It was solid, got the job done, not out there just, 4X my money or anything, but college football Saturday was good. Was happy about that. Got a nice little online qualifier. So, it's not a live one, but I'll be in the living room sweating that out in a couple of weeks. I know our guy Bruce has a ticket for sure. So he's going to be fighting to take that down. And, college football still got a couple of weeks left. So as Hoop likes to say, one price, all the sports, you get MMA on the weekends, you get everything. So be sure to check all of that out. And we got some Monday Night Football tonight. We got NBA, which I'm pumped for. So I am ready for tonight's games.
Yeah, congrats to you. You had that college football was nice. We've had tennis rolling. I think it's a little break right now. MMA was going great. The past 2 weekends, not so much, but a little break this weekend, a much needed one, enjoying some football. Then we'll be back at it, some big cards at the end. But there's NASCAR, there's golf that I got in the streets a little bit. Mondays are always one of my favorite days because we do have the NFL Showdown at night. Always big slates on for NBA. So Hoop, you excited for tonight? Yesterday, you had some live lineups in the Showdown, too. What a crazy game that was. I mean, I haven't seen a game like that in a while, but how's your day going?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how I didn't ship last night. I had those kickers at the kickers were, I think both, or one of them was on the optimal team, but I had them super highly owned, super heavy on the Chargers. I mean, it's basically what it was. I mean, you needed the Chargers guys and then the kickers. And I had a ton of teams up there. It was a good showdown night to make up for a not so good NFL main slate. Actually, FanDuel was okay. DK didn't do the best. It was just hard to find. I don't know if you guys struggled with it too, but it was just hard to find the right thing on DK. T. Higgins was a disaster. The move was clearly in hindsight just to get up to Devontae Adams and Tyreek, I think. And there was lineups where you could do it. That would have made the difference. I was looking at some of those teams, just couldn't pull the trigger. There's a clear team that a lot of people played. And we always talk about on the shows, like getting away from those obvious teams. And I was too big of a, to get away from the obvious team. And FanDuel went okay. DK, not so much. Showdown last night was solid, came close to the big shipper. But tonight, I mean, NBA, full slate of NBA, right into a decent showdown slate as well. So looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, no, we always talk about on the Tuesday show. We have NFL content throughout the week, but us three are on a Tuesday show. We look at the previous week. We talk about the next week, but I think it's a good show to tune into. We talk about getting away from the train sometimes. I didn't even have a great week. I played Devontae Adams, though, and I didn't play Mahomes. That's pretty much really all you needed to bump over a train a little bit. If you play Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson, and Devontae Adams, you had yourself quite the day. 3 guys I love, but didn't have the right fits for sure.
I mean, you look at those teams that shipped yesterday. I mean, you could take on like 2 or 3 busts in some of these contests, like just flat out, just guys that busted and still ship. I mean, it just, like you said, it just came down to if you had the combination of Adams, Jefferson, and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, you printed yesterday. I mean, Taylor was super low owned, which is, kind of surprising. I don't know. He's had a great season. And it just goes to show how much DFS people are just playing matchups. I mean, they're strictly playing matchups and not necessarily playing the skills of these guys. And, that could be a leak for a lot of people because the Bills defense was great, but you look at their schedule, they haven't really played many solid offensive players, I guess I would say. I mean, a lot of cupcake matchups for the Bills. And they face these, that kind of surging team in the Colts. I'll give Big T a little bit of credit. We were burying the Colts, and he said, "Hey, not so fast." And he was right in regards to that. He's wrong on a lot of shit. Don't get me wrong. Wrong on Carson Wentz, MVP, all that crap. But the Colts, solid. I mean, a very impressive win yesterday for them. And then tomorrow with the show. It's going to be at a little bit of a different time. We go 2 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow is going to be 1 p.m. Eastern. And the main focus on that show is going to be a breakdown, a first look for the Thanksgiving Day slate. So we're going to go through the games thoroughly. We're going to go through the positions thoroughly. It's going to be, like I said, a first look type / a little bit of a deeper dive. It's hard to dive into the main slates fully on Tuesday afternoon. So we kind of keep that as like a first look thing. But tomorrow, since this slate is Thursday, we're going to give it a first look and dive in a little bit. So that's at 1 p.m. Eastern, free show on this YouTube channel. So make sure you guys tune in.
Yeah, Turkey Day football is always one. Turkey Day football and the NBA on Christmas Day is two of my favorite slates of the year. Massive prize pools are up there, so definitely we'll have all the content up for that. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor at 3%, Justin Jefferson 3%. Like, it just shows how much Groupthink is involved in DFS now too. I mean, McCaffrey 30%, which was the right play. I mean, he was a good play too, but 30% to 3%, just differences like that when talent. I mean, why the Colts had a great win? Carson Wentz didn't drop back 30 plus times. Jonathan Taylor got the ball 30 times and it went like that. So that's enough NFL though. It's the NBA show. Always good talking NFL though. Everyone, I bet you in chat, plays NFL. It's the sport that most people gravitate to in DFS and you get involved. However, hit the like, hit the subscribe for us. 260 watching, 72 likes. They're not going to do a members never win segment. We had some screenshots. Mangone talked about a big win. Saw some in Discord as well, but we're going to get right into the slate. It's 10 games. There's some injury news. There's not as much as usual, but there's always some injury news that we'll talk about. We'll dive right into the first game. The Brooklyn Nets, the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Nets are favored by 6 to 208.5 over under. We still got Evan Mobley still out. Colin Sexton's, of course, still out. So Jared Allen 7-7. Markkanen's back in the lineup. He's 5K. First game of the day. Hoop, I'm going to go to you. Talk about it. 6-point spread. The studs on Brooklyn are priced up. To talk about DeAndre Bembry, though, 3.1K, should be in the starting lineup. He's been popping a little bit. So what are you doing with him?
Yeah, I mean, you know what you're getting with Bembry. I mean, Bruce Brown is out. So Bembry's going to be in there. He's going to play a lot of minutes. And really, it's a situation where it's not necessarily what Bembry does, but it's what Bembry does for the rest of your lineup. If you can get him in there and you're able to get like another stud or something, it's fine. I saw it the other night. He got 40 minutes of playing time. He got like 18 fantasy points or somewhere in that range. He's in the upper teens. So he is going to have to grind out his minutes to get to value, especially with Durant and Harden there. You have 41 minutes, 16 fantasy points. Wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar, 30 some minutes and 15 to 20 fantasy points might be enough. Who knows? It depends on the slate. It depends on what the studs do. It depends on what Bembry is able to get you in your lineup. Definitely fine playing him. I'm definitely fine, but don't think this is a value guy that's going to come out and get you like 35 fantasy points. Don't be banking on that. In regards to the rest of this team, not a ton of interest in the Nets. I mean, honestly, looking at it, would probably just be Bembry for me. On the Cavs side, not the super thin situation that they've been dealing with. Obviously, they get Jared Allen back, but still no Chetty Osman, this Lamar Stevens dude still out, Mobley still out. The guys that I do like here, or the guy that I like the most would be Garland on FanDuel at 6.2K. I think that's a really good price tag for him. You can play Ricky Rubio at 6.8, but it's not the same clear-cut situation that we've been dealing with the past couple weeks for the Cavs. So the clear two plays for me in this game would be Bembry. That's just a value where you're hoping he doesn't kill you and it allows you to do more with your lineup. And then on the Cavs side, I think Garland's a fine option, specifically on FanDuel, where he's only 6.2K. Not a ton more though for me, maybe a little bit of Rubio. Still should get a lot of minutes, mid-30s. But yeah, it's probably about it for me here in this game.
Yeah, good call on Garland. FanDuel 6.2, DraftKings 7.2. So you get that 1K difference. He plays upper 30s minutes. And as far as Bembry, I'm with you. Like, he's grading out well. 3.1K gets you a lot of stuff. I don't think the spends today are as elite as we've seen in the past. And 3.1K, he played 40 minutes. He had an 8% usage rate. Like, he can easily play you 40. He's what we call an exercise guy. He's out there getting conditioning. Harden's out there. KD's out there shooting. I think Patty Mills at 4.5 is a little interesting. He's played over 30. He's played over 30 minutes his past 4 games. So Bembry, Patty Mills, Garland on FanDuel. I'm thinking, man, you're getting a lot.
Did Durant play in that game with Bembry playing the 41 minutes, or was he still out?
I didn't play on Saturday, which I assume
was it Saturday. Yeah, I'm pulling that up. I just want to see if the was it Saturday. We'll figure. I don't. Yeah.
It's 11-19. No, it was Friday. KD didn't play, so no, he didn't play that day. If that was Friday,
that was 41 minutes with only Harden out there, and he got 16 fantasy points. Now Durant will be back. Which that 8 number on the usage rate could potentially come down, which is scary.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you might work on the slate like 3.1K. Big T always talk about it. Doesn't kill you. The minutes are key, and you can rebound, fall yourself into assists and layups, but it is a little nerve-wracking. 8% usage. Man, I don't know if you're in the YouTube, but you are definitely getting stroked in the chat. I'm with you. The shades are a good look, man. If you're ever at a club or at a bar, bring those shades in. You'll definitely get some more ladies around you. Talk about this game, though. Do you agree with us, or full fade?
It's too bad our customer base is like 98% out of shape dudes, unfortunately for you.
Yeah, we'll have to turn it around. Maybe someone asked if I was single in the chat. A little worried. I don't know if they have a sister. Maybe they're trying to throw me over, but I'll have to see.
You never know. Always network.
Never know. There could be ladies in the chat for sure. But this is a game the ladies will love, right? I mean, listen, you have to love the Brooklyn Nets. They're a fun basketball team to watch. You do expect them to put up a lot of points, even though it is a 208.5 total. That's because Cleveland plays a bit slower. But this is a game that, you want to stack up. It could win you some money because the Cavaliers, they don't have a lot of guys. And Jared Allen, I mean, he's a great play. Hoop, you always like to look at this and talk about it. Jared Allen is a guy that the projections, yes, the price has caught up to him a little bit, but the projections are always a little bit behind. And I think they're going to be a little behind tonight. I think Jared Allen easily can go for 40. I think he can go for 50 tonight and have a massive game. It's a revenge spot too. And look who he's playing next to. He's playing next to Lauri Markkanen, who will help stretch the floor, won't really steal all the rebounds, playing next to Dean Wade, Isaac Okoro, who you know very well, Isaac Okoro can get 3 fantasy points in 40 minutes. Am I not wrong?
That is correct. I'm still scarred from that, and it was like the 3rd game of last NBA season, I believe, when they had like
I think it was the first. Honestly,
was it the first slate?
It was very early for sure.
It was the first Wednesday big slate because I had him too, and he got negative points in overtime.
It was wild. I mean, it defied odds. Really defied odds.
But it's just worth mentioning because if he's paired next to that kind of player, well, Jared Allen is going to absolutely crush. Well, the reason why we like Dean Wade was because Dean Wade was playing next to guys and Ed Davis. Sure, he's a good point per minute guy, but Ed Davis sucks and can't play a lot of minutes. That's why you liked a lot of these other guys. Now you have the alphas back with the guys who suck. And Garland is a great play, especially on FanDuel. DraftKings, I think he's a good one, but I think he's a better play over on FanDuel. Jared Allen, I think he's a really good play. The issue Jared Allen runs into today is center is kind of loaded on this slate. It doesn't feel as loaded, but it's not as great of a slate value wise. We've had a lot of really good value slates, but I think Jared Allen is definitely someone that you can go to on this slate that can be on the winner. Bembry, you brought up great points with him, Hoop. There is no Brown, so that's going to help him out a ton. I do think Bembry is in a pretty decent spot for value just to help kind of fill out your lineup. Patty Mills is okay too, but not as good obviously with Kevin Durant there because now he's not the number 2 guy chucking up all the shots. I do think this could be a decent LaMarcus Aldridge bounce back spot. The issue is center is a little bit deep. So I don't know if you need to go there. It might be a better FanDuel play than DK because I believe he has that power forward eligibility still over there. But this is a game I don't want to ignore. I'm not just going to say, hey, I can ignore the 7 o'clock games and move on. I think there is a lot of opportunity here for these guys. I think the top 3 guys on the Cavs are Garland, Allen, and Rubio. I would say probably in that order. Markkanen's probably right behind Rubio. And then on the net side, I think Harden's a good spend up. But I don't know if I want to spend up for a lot of guys today. I think Bembry's the best value play on that net side of the ball.
Yeah, you made a good point earlier. People look at over-unders, you see 208.5, and you just think kind of fade. Well, the highest over-under on this slate, 10 games, is 221.5. And from last year to this year with the new rule changes and everything, we're not seeing these big boy 240s anymore. So 208.5, while it seems low, it's not as low on this slate. It's all about mainly the minutes and the usage. So good point there. And ladies, if you are in here, you want to slide into the DMs, it's at Travis Mangone on Twitter. That's where you find the man and those nice shades. We'll get into the next game though. 323 watching, 99 likes. Hit the like for us and subscribe. We do appreciate it. And if you want to get all the content, a bunch of content up tonight for NFL, for NBA, The promo code is RPS Heater 25, gets you 25% off. And make sure you get in the Discord because we always talk about it. But there's RPS Discord is unmatched. People are in there talking nonstop 24/7 about all kinds of sports. So make sure you join it. RPS Heater 25. We're going to get into the next game, the Hornets and the Wizards. It's a 217 total. The Wizards are favored by 4.5. I'll go right back to you, Mangone, because not too much is standing out to me in this game. But what do you see?
Yeah, the Charlotte Hornets and the Wizards, the guy to look at, I think, specifically on FanDuel is LaMelo Ball, right? LaMelo against the Wizards could definitely be really interesting because of the ceiling he has, and it's the price tag. If you look at the difference on FanDuel and DraftKings, there's a pretty big difference there. DraftKings, you get him at 10.2K. FanDuel, you get him at 9K. And also the stocks are really good for LaMelo Ball. If you look, let's see if I can find him. You got last game, 3 steals and blocks, 1, 2, 3. One game he had 6. Like, we know the ceiling that he can have at that price. That price gap is worthy enough for me to consider LaMelo Ball. You also get forced to play, right, 2 point guards over there. So I think LaMelo Ball is a really, really strong play, someone that I'm going to look at on this slate. Again, 217 total. Do you think it's a great spot for him? And the Wizards are definitely happy to play a little bit of small ball. You wouldn't be shocked to see Montrezl Harrell in the game and absolutely dominating on the other side because of how small the Hornets can go if they'd like to. And if they do go small, Kelly Oubre revenge game could be on the mind of him. I mean, he is someone that you could see him get up to 30 minutes. You could see him chuck up a ton of shots. So I think Kelly Oubre is a really contrarian play for 150 max that I would definitely be considering if you're going to MME tonight. I would keep him in the pool. I do think he's a good option. I do think Miles Bridges feels a little expensive. If you fell on him in MME, I wouldn't tell you, hey, don't play him. But I do think there's better 8K options on this slate. I prefer Gordon Hayward to him if I'm taking one of those small forward options, which I think it's a good spot for him. And then on this Wizard side, I talked about Harrell. I think he's interesting. The problem is, again, center is a little deep. That's one of my fears. I do think that on FanDuel, he is 7,400, which feels expensive, but with having the power forward eligibility, that's a little bit nice. You do get Daniel Gafford at 4.4K, who does have a ceiling to get 40 fantasy points. It's certainly in his range of outcomes. So I do think he's someone that I'm going to look to play. And Bradley Beal is another one that I talked about there being some value today. Like, when we get to the Magic, we'll discuss it. But I think there's enough value at center where maybe you have to spend up at shooting guard. And Bradley Beal could be a really good spend up here against the Hornets. So I think this is a game that you don't want to ignore when you're mixing and matching your teams in MME. But I also don't think it's a game that I'm like, if I'm playing 1 or 2 lineups, I'm just like throwing a ton of players in here. If you want to mix in on FanDuel, LaMelo Ball, I think that's a really great play. And he's probably my favorite option between both sites on this slate.
Yeah, I don't have much interest in this game, but I agree. FanDuel, LaMelo, 9K. Like, the problem in the beginning of the year when we were trying to play him, because the price was pretty good, is the first 3 games, for some reason, he didn't get over 30 minutes. Little foul trouble and coaching stuff. But for like the past 3 weeks, I don't think he's been below 30 minutes at all. A lot of those games, he's in the upper 30s, and he's shown a big ceiling. So I'm with you. Not as much interest in this game, but LaMelo would be the one. He's up there on DraftKings at 10 too. FanDuel, I like it more. Hoop, talk about LaMelo, talk about this whole game.
Yeah, I can't match that breakdown. Mangone, I mean, went to town on this game. There's not much more I can add to it. So I'm gonna keep my approach here pretty short and simple. Nobody on DK really stands out to me as a play. Don't really like the price tags on anyone, but on FanDuel, the 2 guys that were highlighted in Mangone's breakdown, LaMelo Ball at 9K, great option, all formats. And then Bradley Beal at 8.5K, great play in all formats. And I kind of like, if you're a tournament player, pairing those 2 together, LaMelo and Bradley Beal on FanDuel, and hope you get a little back and forth. It's a 217 total. Games should remain close. But yeah, that's really all I'm looking at. I do like that pairing quite a bit in tournaments. It's much cheaper compared to the price tags on FanDuel. I mean, LaMelo is what, 10-2 on he's 10-2 on DK, and Beal's 9-3. I mean, you're basically getting $2,000 difference. I mean, it's pretty substantial. So nothing on DK, but love those 2 on FanDuel.
Yeah, real quick, title, just to cut in. One thing I'm going to MME tonight, and one thing that I've been doing with, as Hoop has teased, that the new announcement possibly, when I'm building out my stuff, the secret. One thing that I do is I'm not going to X guys from this game. I'm not just going to say, okay, like, let me not play anyone. But if I like LaMelo Ball, I'm going to up him a couple points and see what it does. And if it gives me more LaMelo, great. Like, sure, I'm not going to force it though and say, okay, let's say he's projected for 45. I'm not going to make him 55 just so I get more LaMelo Ball. I'm going to kind of approach it that way, and it mixes and matches some really nice low-owned guys that have a ceiling on your teams, and you're not forcing it too much, which I think is the correct way to kind of do it, and just let the opto do its work while you also put your own input. Sure, some guys I might X from the game, but I'm not going to, or maybe I'm not going to X them, but some of them I just might not bump. But if it gives me more like Daniel Gafford, then so be it. I'm okay with having some Daniel Gafford because it helps make my lineup a little bit different, and it helps with the construction of everything.
Yeah, definitely very good points there. Don't raise someone just 10 points just to make sure you get it. Raise them a couple if you like them a little more, see what it gives you. And you can always bump up the minimum exposure, bump down the maximum exposure if you want to go that way.
And on the other side, Title, when the way BigT says it too, I think it's a good move, is like, let's say you look and let's say you are getting a lot of Bradley Beal and you do not like Bradley Beal on this slate. Well, move it from 45 to 43 and see what happens. And if you're still getting a lot of Bradley Beal, there's probably a reason based on your player pool or the way the algorithm is or the way the values are. So that's another way too to do it, where if you're getting too much exposure to a guy, just kind of get off him that way.
Yep, definitely good points. And we talked about the first two games, or the 7 p.m. Eastern games. There's 2 of them today. A lot of the news, I mean, we don't really have too much news in general, but the news we do have that's important. SGA is questionable. They play at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Kevin Porter Jr. is questionable. They play at 7:30 Eastern. And then Devontae Graham on the Pelicans is questionable. They play at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, I mean, Kevin Porter and SGA is the most important news. I'm expecting to get that news before lock time. Maybe it's 30 minutes before is what they shoot for. Usually it's been a little better this year. But if we have SGA and Porter news and you like these early games, you just go for it. I don't think it's worth waiting on news. While some days when we have Damian Lillard questionable at 10 p.m. Eastern and stuff like that, backloading makes more sense. Today, I just think you play. If you like the early games, you play them. We should have the big news. So that's something I always like to talk about, the timing of the games and the injuries. We're going to go to the next game, though, the 7:30 p.m. Eastern, the Rockets and the Celtics. Boston is a huge favorite at 12, 213.5 total. Again, Kevin Porter is questionable. So if he's out, Jalen Green gets a usage bump. Jayshawn Tate, Christian Wood was very hurtful last week. The minutes weren't there as much. He'd get a little boost as well. As far as the Celtics, Jaylen Brown is back in the rotation. So that kind of, I mean, Tatum, Schroeder, it's definitely a bump down to them. The usage goes back to Jaylen Brown as well and more spread out. Josh Richardson is questionable, but that's not very big news on the slate. Hoop, I'm going to go to you. Big spread. Jaylen Brown's now back. Talk about that Kevin Porter news, because I think that could do something.
Yeah, got to make a little adjustment to my earlier statement where I said that our fan base or customer base is 98% out of shape dudes. My boy Drew Anas in the chat says that's very hurtful. Hoop, no days off in the gym here. All right, I'll make an adjustment. So like 95% out of shape dudes. All right, Drew's in the gym grinding. Got to give him some credit. In regards to
Drew's the man. He's always grinded. Discord in the gym. Drew's always grinded.
Yep. In regards to this game, yeah, I mean the Porter thing is, I guess, a little bit important. I don't know how excited I would be even if he is ruled out. It's a tough spot here for Houston in Boston. Christian Wood was hurtful last week. I just don't want to be on these crappy teams on these bigger slates, and I'm just not seeing much that really stands out. I mean, maybe those guys would creep in if you're MMEing, mix them in a little bit, Tate and Green, but it's a tough spot here against Boston. Then on the Boston side, they get Jaylen Brown back, and that's a pretty big downgrade to basically everyone. I mean, Dennis Schroeder was crushing with Brown out. With Brown back, it kind of is a muddled situation. I mean, you got Tatum, Horford, Robert Williams. I guess if I was going anywhere, it would be Robert Williams maybe. I mean, when he's been out there, he's been very productive for the most part. But, man, I'm just really not excited about this game regardless. I mean, Brown back, you're paying elevated price tags for almost everyone here on the Boston side because they have been so productive with him out. Well, him back, it's going to take away a lot. And, man, he's back in DK, 9.6K, right up to the top. So I can't see myself playing any Boston guys today. And Houston, I mean, maybe some of these guys would creep in if Porter's ruled out.
Yeah, I mean, before he got injured, his usage rate was mid-20s every game. Some games was in the 30s, like a huge piece. I'm glad they priced him up, first of all. If he was a 7K or something, the slate would be a lot worse. But Mangone, do you agree with us? Boston kind of a stay away with them back, but talk about the Porter news because I think I have a little more interest than Hoop with Jalen Green, Eric Gordon, maybe a Wood if he is out. Talk about it.
Yeah, you can have more interest in him, but you can make an argument, like for the most part, especially on these 10-game slates, can't we just like fade like Thunder and Rockets? I mean, I'm not saying like completely fade them, but you can do your best to stay away and not just get overexposed to them. I don't think it's like the worst idea to take that approach throughout the whole season. Hoop. We kind of talk about that sometimes. What's your thoughts on that? Because sometimes it's a bit of a guessing game and it's really frustrating. Like Christian Wood is probably sure 7-3. I think he's a really good play, but you could make an argument to just stay away from some of the Rockets here, right? Hoop?
Kind of been my goal on these bigger slates. Like, man, we have some good teams going tonight, some teams in good spots. Like, man, do I really want to play like dudes on the shittiest team that could literally go out and lose by 30? I don't think you have to do it. I mean, yes, if there's a standout value that, it's a can't miss situation, then yeah. But still, even if Porter's out, I'm not seeing like someone that I absolutely have to get in. Last guy type in, sure. 10% in GPPs, sure. But I really don't want these guys to be like core pieces for me. And I think that's definitely viable to just avoid these crappy teams. It's what I've been trying to do this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make this quick, but if you do play the Rockets, just simple. Play a Celtic, maybe ran back, right? Like play Jason Tatum at 10K. Jason Tatum would be 10K probably in this situation already. So I don't mind going to that, or even like an Al Horford. I don't think Al Horford's a bad play. You'll definitely see the double big lineup ran. I think that Robert Williams at 6'1", we know he can get 40 fantasy points at that price. So that's kind of how I would mix and match these guys. If I am playing these Celtics, I do think getting some Rockets exposure is the best way to approach it.
Yep, makes sense. Not a game that I have as much interest in either. Just a little. I mean, the news, we don't really have a lot of news on this slate. However, we are going to get to the next game where we do have news. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the Atlanta Hawks. It's a 213 total. Atlanta is favored by 12, and SGA is questionable. So SGA, he has the ball in his hand a ton. If he's out, Giddey gets a very big boost. Lou Dort, who's been playing good basketball, gets a boost. Darius Bazley would get a little boost. I don't know if Kendrick Williams would slide in the starting lineup or a Ty Jerome. I don't know who they would really slide in the starting lineup. Do either of you guys have a guess on that? I think Giddey would maybe move over and then Kendrick would go at the 3 or something. I don't know if you guys.
I mean, the last time they had like an injury, everyone kind of assumed Kenrich was going to start, and not only did he not start, he only played like 13 minutes. So it's a really unpredictable team. They can move these guys around for sure. So I literally have no idea who would start.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that Giddey handles a lot of the point guard role. Yeah. He likes to bring up. So that's how I'd assume. But again, we should kind of have this news before lock or right about it. Hoop, I'll go to you though. SGA, it is big news. So talk about how you're handling it. If he's in, are you just going to avoid it? If he's out, and then Atlanta's favored by 12. So you didn't have interest in the last game as a blowout. This could easily blow it as well. So
I mean, yeah. With Atlanta, it's just simple. I mean, we talk about it all the time when they're at full strength or close to full strength. It's tough to really go to these guys, especially on a full slate, which we have tonight. 12-point favorites at home. If SGA is out, I mean, that number could even go up a little bit more. Just a massive, massive mismatch here. So I won't be playing any Hawks guys tonight. I just don't see the need. I mean, maybe Kevin Huerter as a value play, last guy in type thing. 32 minutes, 34 minutes. Yeah, maybe I do like him. He's only 4.2K in DK. I think you can add him as a value option for sure. But on the Thunder side, I'd have way more interest in this situation than the Rockets situation. If SGA is out, I think Giddey's a great play. Giddey's been phenomenal this season. Just very, very solid, contributes across the board, does everything that we like for fantasy purposes, fair price tag. Lou Dort's another guy that I'd have some interest in. Those two would clearly be my favorite. I mean, those guys are going to get a ton of minutes, and the scoring responsibilities will rest on their shoulders. We'll see what happens with the starting lineup if he's ruled out. But if he's in, it's just this whole game is probably a fade for me outside of Huerter, who I think you can play.
Yeah, I agree. The Hawks I rarely play. One other guy I'll throw out if you want a low-owned value to get off the Bembries and stuff. Cam Reddish is 3.6. His minutes have trended upwards. He's played mid-20s the past 2 games. Has a mid-20s usage rate as well. We know Cam Reddish, when he's in, he likes to chuck. So if he gets 25 minutes, that's 3.6K. He could easily outscore a Bembry even in 40 minutes. So little pivot there. I agree. I don't think you really need to go to the Hawks as much. Mangone, how do you see this game, and what are you doing with SGA news in or out?
Yeah, I think you could see the Lou Williams role, right? It might shift over to Cam Reddish as the season goes on, where he's like the sixth man that chucks up a ton of shots. So in those kind of games where it blows out, he could be the guy leading everyone in the fourth quarter and just hanging on the court and chucking shots up. So I think he could be a guy that you mix and match in MME. I like Toops calling Herter, and I do think Clint Capella is in play and viable because how bad the Thunder are. It's just, again, center has a lot of options that you can go to. So I do think he's a good guy to mix and match in tournaments. And then if you do have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander out, there's a lot of usage to go around. Lou Dort on DraftKings specifically, you see FanDuel is 6.4, DK is 5.1K. I think he's like a really strong play there at that price. Giddy's okay at 6K, but I think Lou Dort is my favorite option in this entire game if SGA is out.
Yeah, it makes sense. I like both. I like Bazley's price at 4.9. I mean, SGA just has the ball in his hands so much. Even with in this spot is definitely would be harder to ignore OKC if he's out rather than if Kevin Porter's out, the Houston side. So definitely agree. Hopefully we do get this news before lock. Otherwise, have a plan about it because it is pretty big news. If he's in, I think it's mainly a stay away, a Cam Reddish or a one-off hurt or something like that. Before we get into the next game, 418 watching, 128 likes. We can do a little better than that for sure. Big slate, 10 games. NFL Showdown later. Everyone, you guys hanging out in chat. We got Squid, We the People, Matt, Chia. I don't know if you saw this comment in chat, Mangone, but it made me laugh. Waffles goes, I'm a foreigner, and the dude at the center line needs to slow down to the info he's trying to share. Mangone, tell him there's a little settings button down there that you can go to 0.75 speed, right, Mangone? And listen to you
not
that
just
way?
0.7. So you can put it to 0.75 or 0.5, or you can go the other way. If you really want to hear me talk fast, go to ×2, go to 1.75, go to 1.5. I mean, those are settings you can go to, and you can even make your own setting. One of the buddies I live with.
What a good comment.
He made
I had to
a
say
4X
it.
setting where you can listen on 4 times speed, which it's insane. So there's tons of different speeds that you can listen to this thing on.
I had to say it too. I mean, that dude made me laugh. I couldn't stop laughing at it in the comments. But yeah, I mean, most of the people here know Mangone, and they say that when they speed it up during the show, it's 1.5. When Mangone talks, it goes back to 1 or a little less. So
yeah, put it on 0.75, 0.5. You know, it's a nice speed.
Yeah, Mangone's got he has so much information in his head, he just lets it all go and he delivers it. So 0.5x, you can put it on. That was a funny comment though. I appreciate you making me laugh. We're gonna go to the next game though. 8 p.m. Eastern game, the Timberwolves and the Pelicans. Minnesota is favored by 3, a 214 total. Devontae Graham is questionable. Again, it's not the biggest news. SGA is definitely bigger news, but I like Josh Hart's price already at 5.5. I like Ingram's price at 7.9, so I think they get a bump. Patrick Beverly, your boy, man, going 5K. I like his price on FanDuel a little more too. I think he's in play. Anthony Edwards at 7.4. I don't know why his price is going down. I think that stands out as a really good play. I'm gonna go back to you, man. Going Pat Bev's your guy. I gotta go to you in this game first. Talk about it.
Yeah, Pat Bev's been crushing, by the way. He's been good times. I've had him in some MME stuff too. I'm going to keep riding Patrick Beverly. 5.0 over on FanDuel is a price that I can definitely get behind. If you need some cheaper guards, he's a guy that I'm definitely going to go to. Again, 5.0 both sites. You have to like him. I even don't mind D-Russ. I made fun of D-Russ a little bit to you, Title, and I've played him actually more than you'd think, and it's worked out. So I've warmed up to D-Russ. It's the issue with this team is, and I think it's been something I've noticed is, man, Cat has been tough. Like his range of outcomes has been a lot wider than Edwards and D-Russ. And I just think that they're cutting into him a ton. I think D-Russ and Edwards, I'll get more exposure to them. It's a tough slate at center. I do think Cat is a good spend up option at 9.5K, but I'm going to probably get more D-Russ and Edwards exposure. I also don't mind mixing in Vanderbilt right now. They're just down a lot of guys. I don't know if Okogie is back today. I know Naz Reid has been dealing with that foot. So if all those guys are out, they're really riding these 5 guys. Sure, they're mixing in like McDaniels here and there and Beasley, but they're really just going all in on them and giving them a ton of minutes. And against the Pelicans, and Pelicans are a team that they're not that good and you can easily crush them. And the Pelicans have enough guys where this Timberwolves defense is not that great, where Valanciunas, I think, is in play at 8.9. I think Brandon Ingram is a good play at 7.9. And Josh Hart is another one who's been absolutely phenomenal. Sure, the last game, he was terrible, but he only played 24 minutes. The games before that, just look at the minutes here since 11-12. 38 minutes, 32 minutes, 37, 38, and 35. And I think those minutes have been there because now that Ingram is back, they're starting to play like their normal rotation. And yeah, at times Graham has been out, but I think Hart is here to stay. I do think Josh Hart's 5.3K price tag, that's going up. That's going to be 6K. It's going to be 6.5K. And I'm not going to miss out. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to him. The Timberwolves, you can attack defensively. You can hit 3-pointers on him. I'm not missing out on Josh Hart here. I think he's a really great play here at the small forward position. So I like this game all around. I think it's one of the better games on the slate. There are some downsides to these players. Like, yes, if Anthony Edwards goes for 50, yeah, D'Angelo Russell might go for 30, and that could be unfortunate. But I do think in tournaments, you're going to want to get exposure to this game. And in your cash games too, you're not going to want to ignore players here.
Yeah, this is my favorite game too. And Josh Hart, like you mentioned, the thing I love about Josh Hart is he's a very, very good rebounder. He has double-double upside. He loves to crash the boards. People are asking about Joe Val in chat too. Yeah, Joe Val's price I think he's in play on DraftKings at 8-9. He's 8K on FanDuel. I don't know why we're going back to the early days or to start the year where he just underpriced. Like, this is not the same role Joe Val's been in his whole career. He's at a perfect role. The minutes are there. And the last 2 games that he played against Cat last month, he dropped a 60 burger and a 53 piece on Cat. So if you're one of those people that like to look at matchups and what he's done in the past, I think Joe Val has a lot of upside, and I like his price. Hoop, talk about this game, and then William in chat asked if you can play Joe Val and Cat in the same lineup. So touch on that too.
I mean, why not? No, of course you can. I mean, there's and a lot of people ask those questions, like same position, opposing sides, like it's kind of what you want in tournaments. You want a back and forth. You want these guys to get into a little battle where they're demanding the ball in the post and they're trying to score on each other every time.
Real quick, to jump into something real quick. I think it's important with your point you're making. The coach said at the start of the year, he said, I'm going to give the ball to Valanciunas to wear out the other team's really good big center. And that's what they're going to try and do. They are going to feed it to Valanciunas. Sometimes people think they stay away from the guy. They're going to try and get Cat in foul trouble because what does Cat do? He fouls a ton. He does it all the time. He did it the other day. He had 3 fouls quick into the game. And I think, sure, both guys could easily go back and forth, but you are going to see Valanciunas chuck. And if he does hoop, if Big T's down there bodying you down low, you're going to feel disrespected and go back at Big T down low and get buckets on him, right?
If Big T bodies me down low, first off, it's not going to work out very well. I'm sneaky in the post, my defensive skills. I take them. I mean, if I'm facing Big T, I'm going outside. I'm doing the title. I mean, I don't got the step. I don't got the step back like Title. I mean, I have other moves where Big T will not be able to guy. And after seeing what Title did to Big T, I mean, my confidence level on Hoop versus Big T is just like absolutely through the roof. Just through the roof. And Big T knows it. He's got to get better. He's got to get in better shape. Dude, he's skilled.
I think Big T would throw a lot. I think Big T would throw a lot of money on himself against Hugh Hoop. I don't know.
Of course he would. He wanted to throw a lot of money on himself for his title because Big T talked up this big game and he gets on the court and what he was talking about versus what we see on the court. After seeing the videos of his kid, I think his kid might be able to take him at this point. The kid's got a stepper. Kid's got the step back.
Yeah. One more thing to mention with that Hoop, if Title and Big T play in Colorado, listen, Big T played in Colorado when he was younger. Man, I'm trying to get in good shape again. This altitude is tougher than you think. It's definitely, I've noticed it. So
it doesn't matter where we play, Mangone.
It's good for you though, I think, because you're in shape. Big T, he's going to struggle. He can't just go and hit Chick-fil-A and Wendy's and then go and play on the court. He'll
got to hit the gym. I've been trying to encourage him to hit the gym, and he's just he's not doing it. And if he doesn't hit the gym, he's drawing dead to a lot of people on the court. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. In regards to.
You talk about there's so on both sides. Like is this your favorite game?
Great game, yeah. It's a phenomenal game, and we got a lot of guys that are like overpriced on the slate. Then you come here, and all these guys just fair price tags. I mean, you look at the Minnesota side. Patrick Beverley has just been crushing. I think he's a fine play. Better suited for his game's better suited for FanDuel than DK, but you can play him on both. D'Angelo Russell. I mean, I've been a D'Angelo Russell hater, but. You look at what he's done recently, and he's just been super, super steady. And maybe something's clicked. The issue with him, the floor is low, and he'll come out, and if things don't go well from the start, he becomes disinterested, and he's still going to have some of these 15 fantasy point games along the way. But recently, he's been very steady. I prefer Anthony Edwards at a little bit cheaper. He's great. I don't know why his price came down, like you guys said. Cat at 9.5, I think is a fine play. Then you go to the Pelicans side. They have a lot of guys in play regardless of Graham's status. Josh Hart, I think, is a great play. Ingram is a great play. Valanciunas is a great play. If Graham's ruled out, those guys go for me personally, from great plays to like elite plays. So really good game here, really good spot. I mean, 6 to 7, I think, really strong plays.
Yeah, this game's awesome. It could even get like better, like you said. But yeah, the point you made that I think is the most important. We're talking about a lot of these games and overpriced studs and overpriced people. This game just seems underpriced, I guess, relative to the slate for sure, but appropriately to underpriced. And that's what we look for in DFS. People in chat like it, Linekin, liking his comment. You made me laugh. I appreciate it. I got to ask, because the 1.5, 2x talk, 1x. When you listen to podcasts, Mangone, I think I know your answer. I'll ask you first, Hoop. Do you listen normal speed? Do you listen 1.5x? What is your go-to?
1.5 on it. 1.5 on everything. I have to, unless I'm listening to Mangone. If I do 1.5 on Mangone, I'm not going to hear a damn thing. So Mangone's a 1.25. Everyone else is 1.5.
Mangone?
I'd say on the YouTube, it's 1.75 for me. I like 1.7 a lot. I think 1.5 is not bad, but on the podcast, I do 2x sometimes. So
wow,
I figured that.
It depends what I'm doing. Like it depends if I want to listen to it or just like more background noise too. Like sometimes it's like, okay, like this is background noise. If I catch a nugget here or there, like that's great. But it just kind of depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah, when you speak in 1.5, you got to listen in too. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm 1.5 as well. So I think 1.5. It's just a funny topic what people like talk about. Darth Anger, I listen normal speed. Spread normal. He's old. Yeah, I like
Spread. Give it a chance, Spread. I'm telling you, just start at 1.25. It's a legit game changer.
It's a huge game changer. Like you just can consume more content. And you think that 1.5 is scary, but just try 1.25. Go there like Hoop said. I think Hoop is 100% right. When I heard Hoop was on it, I knew like that everyone else should get on.
Yeah, it's Spread for you. You listen to so many podcasts too. Give it a try. Start with 1.25. Give it a try. Saves a lot of time out of your day too. I could never go back to normal speed, but sounds like a lot of people are normal as well. All right, we're going to get into the next game. Hit the like and subscribe for us. It's a little hurtful right now. I mean, I'm not the one to hold plays of the day really, but there are a couple people on the show that aren't afraid to do it. 10 games slate. Hit the like, hit the subscribe for us. We got a couple of games left, but do us a favor. Get some good mojo rolling in on this big afternoon. All right, we're going to get into
250 or we're out. We're holding strong title. It's got to be 250.
250 too. I mean, they've been over 300 every time too. So that's a low ball too. 250 should be eased.
Little slower today. People got the NFL Showdown, so I mean the numbers are a little lower. 250, got 90 to go. But we gotta be firm and give Mangone credit on this one. He signed us off. I think was it last week? Last week?
It was like about 2 weeks ago that we.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
We don't get it. I mean, we got the shades on. Hoop. We're strictly business. It's a slow day. Some people are putting up their Christmas lights like yourself.
Yep.
Just hit.
I was today. I actually legit put the Christmas lights up outside as well. So it was outside and in the office, as you can see, dangling over my head.
There you go. Yeah.
Just someone Join in the chat wanted a carpet update. You must have missed it yesterday. The carpet, the installers came last Wednesday, fully installed the basement, no issues. Different crew. It wasn't the big meathead guy that I thought was going to kick my ass in my own house. It was a different crew. Very nice, respectful. Carpets laid, beautiful. Wife's happy, Hoop's happy. It's all good.
Junia is a regular in here almost every day, so I think she just wanted for you to say it again. But yep, it's all good in the it's all good in the Hoop household.
Hey, now there will be further updates to come because that was only the basement. We still have the main floor and the upstairs, so you might get some more updates along the way. So stay tuned. I know Holden will love it.
I was gonna say, keep it for the Morningwood show for Holden and Big T. They absolutely love that for sure. All right, we'll get into the next game. Christmas lights, carpet, 1.5x, 2x. This is why you come up. You show up for Up Your Sports. You watch some shows, just guys being dudes, talking sports, talking life, giving out winners. So hit the like and subscribe button for us. We appreciate it. Indiana Pacers, Chicago Bulls, 212.5 over under. Chicago is favored by 1.5. Vooch is still out, and we've seen DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Lonzo, DeRozan especially this year, absolutely on fire. The prices are up at 9-1, 9K. Expected to keep the ownership down, but I mean, DeRozan's playing as good a basketball as you can and showing upside. As far as the Pacers side, Brogdon at 7-3 seems like a misprice on DraftKings. Karis LeVert 6K. Don't mind some of those prices. I'll go to you, Mangone. Close spread. Not the best over/under, but neither of these slates are. Some good names. Talk about your approach for DFS.
Yeah, I love this game. I think for tournaments, one approach I'm looking to do in tournaments today is, yeah, I mean, we'll get to Giannis. He's a great play, and sure, he's raw points, and maybe in cash games I'll have him. But I do think this like 8K range, the way the algorithm is built, once you kind of get above like 10K, you start like vaulting up to like the 11K, and you get like too expensive where, sure, if all those values crush and the raw points work out, it's great. But I think there's so many guys in this like 7, like even like 6K to like 9K range that have massive ceilings that I can mix and match them throughout my lineups with the values. And I think that is a really winning approach. If you look, Lonzo Ball, 6'7", he has 50-point upside. Zach LaVine at 8K, he has been absolutely smashing. And the prices have not caught up because they're stuck in the algorithm. They're stuck in that 7K range and moving up way too slow. The algorithm just has not caught up for Vucevic not being in, correct?
LaVine's 9K, DeRozan's 9-1 on DraftKings.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm looking at FanDuel, where he is way too cheap over on FanDuel at 8K. Yep. But even at 9K, I'm still okay playing those guys. Like, I think they're really, really strong options. Indiana is a team I love to attack all year long. I think it's going to be a really good spot for these guys. So I'm looking to play DeRozan. I'm looking to play LaVine, Lonzo Ball. They're all really good options. I'm not a huge Tony Bradley guy. This is one of the spots where maybe you can play him because the Pacers do play bigger, but I think center's just too deep where I'm not going to play as much Tony Bradley today. He might be a guy I try to get off of. I'm going to see what when I run my lineups, I'm going to see how much Tony Bradley I'm getting, but he is someone I'm going to look to say, hey, if I have like 6%, why do I have 6%? Let's just get off Tony Bradley. No need to really be playing it.
I'm glad you brought him up because he pops a little bit. He's really cheap, but man, like I just hate playing guys like Tony Bradley. 20 minutes, you're hoping. I don't know. Talk about Tony Bradley. I think there's personally some better value out there. But then talk about the studs in this game. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not going to be on Tony Bradley. I mean, I'd probably play as much as I said I dislike Bembry. I'd definitely play like Bembry over Bradley if I'm looking for a full punt.
I'm with you.
Yeah, Brogdon's price tag on DK is great, 7.3K. I like that tag quite a bit. My favorite play on the Pacers side for sure. On the Bulls side, I agree with like Mangone getting exposure to some of these guys and go out there and get you 50. And Lonzo Ball is one of those guys, and he's coming in a little bit cheaper. I think just a great like tournament type play. Zach LaVine on FanDuel, the price tag stands out. 8K on FanDuel, just way too cheap for LaVine in this spot without Vooch. I think he's a phenomenal play. So for me, the two clear-cut good values, Brogdon on DK, LaVine on FanDuel, Lonzo in tournaments, and that's kind of, I mean, I like how you get props to DeMar DeRozan. I mean, just having a phenomenal season. I mean, just not it's a guy that's typically just been scoring dependent. He's doing it all. I mean, doing it all with this team. Looks confident out there, having a good time. This team's rolling right now. So 9-1 is tough.
Another thing, when you're a guy like DeMar DeRozan on the Spurs, right, and you just kind of like get shipped out and no one wants you, like you try to go to the Lakers, they didn't want you. You got a little motivation there, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's like November, he's still out there trying to prove that like he's the guy and like he should not have been like disrespected. So that's something like, man, it's maybe not something massive, but he is out there at least fighting for your lineups when some other guys are just like kind of just chilling and not really doing much. So I love DeRozan.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, this Chicago Bulls team's fun to watch. As a Bucks fan, that the East, I keep thinking it's like the Nets if they're get a little healthy, the Bucks. But man, this Bulls team, they can make a run. They're definitely fun to watch, and they're showtime with LaVine and DeRozan, Lonzo. A fun team for sure. Without Vooch, you can play them when Vooch gets back. It's going to be a team that I mainly just avoid in DFS, but we've been taking advantage of it. Good prices over on FanDuel, lower owned on DraftKings that you can make a case for. We're going to get into the next game, one that's very important, or a lot of news in DFS. 8 p.m. Eastern, the Magic, the Bucks. The Bucks are monster favorites at 13, a 218 total, but Gary Harris and Cole Anthony are out today. So Jalen Suggs at 5K is the best play on the slate, I think, point per dollar. 5K, he has a lot of upside. He's going to play all the minutes. Terrence Ross at 3.7, I think makes sense. He's going to be chucking it a lot. Franz Wagner at 4.1, Wendell Carter 5.7, Mo Bamba 6K or 6.6K. I think all those guys make sense. I know Michael Mulder is sliding into the starting lineup. I think it's fine at 3.1K. Another one of those guys where like Jalen Suggs is going to handle the ball a lot more. Franz Wagner has more usage. So Mulder could be more of an exercise guy as well. He's in play though at 3.1, RJ Hampton 4.2. And as far as the Milwaukee side, you talked about it, Mangone, the raw spend on the slate, Giannis, he's 12K. He's overpriced, but sometimes like you don't need a 5X value or 5.5X value on a slate like this. We have value. If he gets you what, 58, Mangone, like I'm going to go right to you. Talk about Giannis. Talk about what you'd want from him to play him at 12K, and then talk about this Orlando value.
Well, it's not just what you want from Giannis. If you do play Giannis at 11.7, you also do need your values to get there as well. If they get like 20 or 19, like I don't know if it's going to work as much with the way this mid-range is. That's kind of one of the things I'm debating and looking at lineups like after every single night, kind of looking at winning teams and just trying to see like what's the best way to go. At some point, raw points does matter. I'm not going to X Giannis out. I'm going to see how much of him I get and then kind of make the decision on what I want to do with him on the slate based on his ownership. I think that's very important. But I do want to play some of these Magic guys. I mean, they're definitely really great options. And if you do decide to play like, let's say you do decide to play like a lot of Magic, right? Let's say you're going to play like 4 or 5. Well, then the game is probably close if they all find a way to get there. So then you maybe do want to run it back with Giannis. I think that's going to be important as well when you're kind of building out your ceiling teams for this game. There's a lot to like though here. I mean, Franz Wagner is definitely a good play at 5.1K. Jalen Suggs at 6K. He's one of the better options on this slate. That's over on FanDuel. DK, I believe the price is still just way too cheap. They got him at 5K. So you're going to want to look at him. RJ Hampton, Michael Mulder, depends who kind of slides into that starting spot. And you could even see the starter go out there and play terrible and the other guy just steal the minutes. That could happen. Terrence Ross has a ceiling at 3.7, but Mo Bamba at 6.6 and Wendell Carter Jr., those guys you know are going to play. I mean, is Mo Wagner going to jump in there? Robin Lopez, Chuma Okeke? I think, yes, the prices are a little more expensive on Wendell Carter Jr. and Mo Bamba, but the key is the guys behind him aren't going to steal their minutes or steal some of their usage compared to some of these other guards. So if I had to rank them, I think Jalen Suggs is probably my favorite option, led behind Wendell Carter Jr. and Mo Bamba, because I do think Jalen Suggs is the alpha guard. And then those other two big men, I feel very safe and secure in their situation. So I think they're really great options. And then Giannis is clearly the best guy. I don't really want Middleton or Drew Holiday. I just think there's better plays. And I don't mind mixing in Bobby Portis over on FanDuel at 6.3K.
Oh yeah, Myron Kidd asked, what about Bobby Portis? Overpriced, but dude's been balling. So it'd just be a FanDuel only, like 7.2 on DraftKings. Man, that's a little too steep for me. But FanDuel, yeah, I think it makes sense. As far as Giannis, I mean, they just played the same matchup. Orlando and the Bucks just played on Saturday. Giannis only played 30 minutes. He had 74 DraftKings points. Like 30 minutes, 43% usage, 32 and 20. Bamba can't guard him. Wendell Carter can't guard him. If this game stays close, Giannis is completely going to smash. But then you definitely want some magic on the way back is how I'd approach Giannis. No way you play him by himself. I'll go over to you. Rank your favorite Magic, and then anyone on the Bucks. I take it would be Giannis, but how are you approaching that?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much agree with everything you guys said. I think Suggs is a great play. Another name to bring into the conversation, RJ Hampton. He got all that blowout run last game and kind of went off. He's only 4.2K, played 28 minutes. I mean, this game should blow out again. I mean, 14-point favorites. Is it a lock to blow out? No, but if it does, this guy's going to play a ton of minutes, and he crushed in the blowout time. Wagner coming off a disappointing game, but 4.1K. I think he's definitely in play as well. The one thing is I don't think I want to overdo it with the Magic. We have some good spots on the slate. That 76er situation is very tasty, which we'll get to. It's the last game on the slate, so we'll talk about that too. I don't want to go overboard with these Magic guys against the Bucks. In regards to the Bucks, I think just way better plays on FanDuel. Like, I'm much more likely to play Giannis on FanDuel. I'm much more likely to play Portis on FanDuel as well. Paying that 12. I like what DraftKings has finally done with these studs on DK, where they got him up there. If you want to play Giannis tonight at 12K, you're going to pass up on some really good mid-range plays. There's a lot of guys in the 7K range, I think, that are strong plays. If you want to play Giannis tonight, you have to pass up on those guys in order to do so. Easier to play him on FanDuel than Portis. crushing. I mean, he's absolutely crushing. I don't think he's out of play on DK at 7-2 in tournaments. I think you can play him. I mean, he's got mid 40s upside, and I mean, maybe even more. I mean, that's kind of been where he's at. He's been getting like mid 40s in terms of fantasy, coming off a 50 fantasy point game. I mean, great FanDuel play at 6.3K, not out of play on DK at 7-2. But yeah, definitely fantasy appeal here in this game.
Yeah, if it stays close, the Giannis at 12K, like
Yeah.
I way over it. I like what DraftKings doing too. I mean,
Yeah.
Giannis is going to be low owned when he's 10.6K. It's not fun in slates like that. So
Correct.
definitely got to give props to DraftKings there. We'll get into the next game. 223 likes. I'm not going to keep saying it too much. You guys know the number you want to hit. If you haven't hit it, over 200 people watching that haven't hit it. It's a simple like, a simple subscribe. We appreciate it. It goes a long way. So if you hit it, we appreciate it. If not, well, that's all right, I guess. But hit it for us. We appreciate it a little more. Next game, Phoenix Suns, San Antonio Spurs. The Suns are favored by 5.5, 221 total. I will go right back to you, Hoop. Phoenix is playing really good basketball. Aiton's price 7-1. I like a little bit. Jay Crowder 4-2. The minutes are there. Talk about this game.
Yeah, a few plays here for me. Ayton, like you said, at 7-1. I think he's a strong play coming off. What do you have? Like last week, he had that 17 rebound game. It's just been very
39, 41, 35, 37 in his last four.
Very, very steady, very steady. And the Spurs will typically have a big out there. So I think he stays on the court here. And it's big where he doesn't need to pay close attention to. I mean, Eubanks, is Pirtle still out, right? Pirtle's still out. So
yep.
It's a big he doesn't have to pay close attention to. He can just gobble up the rebounds, help side defense. Love him at 7-1. Jay Crowder, actually, like you said.
Keep going.
Is Pirtle going to be back?
Yeah, he's coming off the bench now from what I.
And that's good though, because they're going to, definitely have it's more bigs in the rotation to keep Ayton on the court. So love him. Derek White is a guy I have interest in, 4.9K on DK. I mean, early on in the season, he was crushing. DeJounte Murray's just kind of taken over this offense, but the price has now adjusted, and he's under 5K. So I have interest in White. But that's really about it here in this game for me.
Yep. Mangone, not a game I'm going to go overboard, not a game Hoop's going to go overboard on. Phoenix Suns, San Antonio, who do you got for us?
Yeah, I'd say I'm just not going to really play too many guys from this game. I just think it's unnecessary. Yeah, I'm out on this game. There's so many games. Let's just move on.
All right, I'm going right back to you then. Utah Jazz, Memphis Grizzlies, Utah 10.5 point favorites, 221.5 total. Take it away.
Yeah, this is definitely a game to like. 221.5 total. It is the Memphis Grizzlies, which their one issue is they have trouble kind of sticking around games. They've been a part of a bunch of blowouts, but the good news is, what are the Utah Jazz? Well, they are a team that's on the road today, which is good for us. They're also a team that they don't care about blowout. They kind of just play their guys. So that's kind of safe and nice. And Rudy Gobert, man, he could absolutely eat it in this matchup. I mean, absolutely dominate. And yes, it feels gross playing Rudy Gobert. But again, I talked about this 8K range being strong, and I do think Rudy Gobert is a really good play. The only concern you can have is that 8.3K. How great do you feel about him getting maybe like 50 fantasy points? It's not something he does a ton, but you do feel pretty safe with him as a play. I do think he's a really good option on this slate. So I like Rudy Gobert, probably my favorite Utah Jazz player here. I do think it's a pretty decent spot for Donovan Mitchell, but I don't need to load up on him. And you can mix and match some of these guys throughout your lineups. It is a Mike Conley game and Mike Conley revenge game. So, maybe he'll get up a little bit for this game. But on the other side, I think Kyle Anderson is a really good option. Kyle Anderson is just too cheap. So is Desmond Bane. I think you want to consider those guys. They're interesting options to mix and match throughout your lineups. And then John Moran is a contrarian spend up, but I think there's just better options. I don't want to spend that 9.7K. He's likely someone, I'm going to run it and see what happens. I'm likely just going to kind of kick Ja out of the pool. I'm sure it'll give me maybe 3%. And I'll probably just say, I don't need that 3%. It's not necessary on this slate. Just kind of depends. But I do think John Moran is a interesting option if you are building a game stack of this game, because if it does stay close, John Moran will definitely be part of it.
Yep, I agree. Hoop, I'm going to go to you. I like this Memphis side a lot more, but I do have interest in Donovan Mitchell. The price is good. Memphis has been awful. They let up so many. I think one of the most points in the league they let up. Donovan Mitchell is by far their leading scorer. Usage is there. They don't play tomorrow too, so maybe even in a blowout, he gets that extra run. They don't play till Wednesday. They didn't play yesterday. And then the Grizzlies, Slow-Mo, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson. What are you targeting in this game?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit different than you guys. I absolutely hate this game. Like,
Hey, that's good. That's good.
yeah, just not anything that's appealing to me. Like slow mo, I mean, he just fucking sucks at basketball. I mean, honestly, he sucks. I played him on Saturday. I was so tilted that I played his ass. I never play the guy, and they had all these dudes out. I'm like, all right, I'll play this. I'll play slow mo. He just doesn't. He's just not good at freaking basketball.
They
I get the
blown
price.
out, Hoop, for what it's worth. Like
What?
They did get like blown out. I mean, they were losing 80-40 basically, so that's part of it. But
he
yeah,
still played 20 minutes and didn't do anything, and they could probably get blown out again here. It's like one of the tougher spots to play.
The one time I played him this year. Scroll down a little bit to that 36 piece he put up for me against Minnesota.
That's how that's how title runs. That's the difference between title and hoop. I mean, title runs pure, hoop doesn't. I mean,
I'll take the 100K hits in the showdowns, and we can switch spots on a little slow mo.
Yeah, slow mo. Yeah, I just can't do it. I do like Bane. Bane, I think is a strong option. Good DK type play for the 3-point shooting and whatnot.
And then there's no Dylan Brooks, right, Hoop? I think that's like very important to mention.
That's why I think for sure. Really no Brooks and no Melton. I mean, Melton's out too. So I mean, there's guys out. I get it, but man, tough spot. I mean, I just don't like playing teams that are going into Utah. I just hate it. Bane, I do like though. Bane's been one of the more impressive guys for me this season, like overall in the NBA. Like he's really stepped up his game. I think he is very solid, very bright future for him. Jazz, though, I just typically don't play Jazz. Like Rudy Gobert is the one guy I might play, but center's loaded. I like so many other centers. I'm just going to take my chances, hope Utah mops this team up, and I won't have much exposure here.
It makes sense. You got to cross off some games, big spread. You hope they blow them out. I'm with you on Bane. Always a better DraftKings play. He's a sniper. He gets a 3-point bonus over there. So good price. I'll go right back to you.
Real quick, some news. Bogdan Bogdanovic is a game time decision. So if he ended up not being out, that could obviously help a ton.
He's been, hadn't they keep tagging him as like questionable game time. Is this the same thing going on that's been going on, or is this something different?
Probably, but it's OKC, right, Hoop? And with it being OKC, there is a better chance he sits. So I don't want to completely ignore that news, because if he does sit, Kevin Huerter and Cam Reddish
would be very strong plays, yeah.
Yep, good point, man. Good catch. Oop, gonna go over to you for the last game of the night. Hold on. First, I got the likes. You guys got it. We appreciate it. 260. We can still do a little better than that, but the plays of the day you guys will get. Last game of the day, though, Oop, you mentioned it. The Philadelphia 76ers, the Sacramento Kings. The Kings are favored by 3.5, 221.5 over under. The big news, though, Tobias Harris is doubtful. Embiid is out. Ben Simmons obviously is still out. Danny Green is also out. So that's a lot of guys on their team that's out. Seth Curry, George Niang, Korkmaz. Just take it away. There's a 76ers. We've been in this boat before, so talk about it.
Great spot just to load the wagon and just fire away at all these guys. I mean, it's, they're super thin. Tobias Harris obviously was the one guy that was soaking up a lot of usage with Embiid out. Well, now he's out. Is he officially out? We said unlikely to play.
Yeah, he's not full, but we're not going to get this news if he somehow plays. Then
you're screwed.
Everyone's going to be.
Yeah, because there are going to be no pivots. But you proceed like he's out, and man, these guys are in a really good spot here. Tyrese Maxey has been playing some really solid basketball with Tobias Harris out on the court. He's going to play at least mid-30s. I mean, he could probably play 40 minutes in a close game. Love him. Seth Curry, Korkmaz, Niang. Drummond's back in our lives. Shake Milton. I mean, you can play all these guys. If you're MMEing, I definitely would get exposure to even Thibault as well, 3.2K. Then on the Kings side, I mean, what the hell took them so long to finally fire probably like one of the worst coaches in professional sports? I mean, you just watch what he does. An awful, awful coach. And he was there for way, way longer than he should have been. Kudos to them for finally firing his ass. I mean, it was miserable. Had to be miserable for this team. Think this gets him going a little bit. De'Aaron Fox, I think, could have a bit. I want to have a lot of De'Aaron Fox tonight, because getting Luke Walton out of there, you could tell he has not been into it. He was not the same player this season as he was last season. I think he finally turns it around a little bit. Good price tag too. 7.6 on DK, like 7.3 on FanDuel. Just great price tag for De'Aaron Fox tonight. He's definitely my favorite play on the King side. Rashawn Holmes, maybe a little bit. I don't mind him. 6.1K on DK is a fine price tag. center is loaded, so it might be a little bit difficult to play him, but it's a great game. And, it's the last game on the slate here. We got tons of 76ers guys in play, 6 or 7 of them. And then I love running it back with De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I agree. The Kings, I mean, so Luke Walton's so bad, but Alvin Gentry is going to be the coach now. And he's always liked to push the ball in the past. De'Aaron Fox likes to get out running, one of the highest totals on the game. I think this game can go over to close spread. It's a very good game. I agree, man. I'm going to go to you. Talk about this game, but then talk about Andre Drummond, because a couple people have mentioned them in chat.
Yeah. So Andre Drummond is definitely in play, but the problem is the center position. The center position is a bit, it's just so loaded today. So it's like, I like Andre Drummond. I think he's in play, but do I have the salary to allocate over there? It is the Kings. It's an interesting spot, but I mean, they probably need him to play is the problem, right? They just need him, but 7.4K, he does still have a bit of a price tag. I think he's a good play. He's not just like a slam the lock button, definitely load up on, because again, center is kind of loaded. I do think on the opposite side of Andre Drummond, Richaun Holmes could, and if he gets the minutes, which we're talking about in the Discord chat a little bit, and the Kings, I want to play some of these guys that are lower owned. I think Fox is a great play at 7.3. I don't know what his ownership is going to be. It does sound like he might be a little higher owned, but I think he has a great ceiling at 7.3, and you can play him. If you look at guys like Holmes, Buddy Hield, they're just too cheap for the unknown, right? Everyone's gonna be like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Let me wait for K Fallick to post the charts in the Discord chat before I play these guys. Well, I don't want to wait for that, because I want to like, when I play these guys, I want to get them low owned, and I want to win when it happens. I want to make sure that when they're low owned and people are not on them the next spot, I'm going to get paid for it. And I think Richaun Holmes can get 36 minutes against Andre Drummond, do that stupid hook shot he does and make him look silly and absolutely dominate. So I think
it's not the hook, it's the push, not the hook. Little push,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I will like just to add on to your point, because I think that is a really good point, Mangone. A lot of times you see when new coaches come in, and Gentry's been in the league before, but he still wants to impress. He wants a head coaching job. They're going to push the key guys on this team. Yeah, it's going to be De'Aaron Fox, Richaun Holmes.
He's done that in the past too. Like, exactly. This is a really good spot.
He's going to push these guys. Like, he's not. Yes. He's also been in this situation.
I think you lean on the new coaches will lean on the better players opposed to mixing in these fringe guys. So really good point. Continue.
Yeah. So listen. I'm going to look at Richaun Holmes as a good option. If you're playing the 2-game slate, embrace variance and like maybe play Tristan Thompson instead of Alex Len, because you know what? Tristan Thompson is probably better for this team than Alex Len. Alex Len sucks. Like, he's terrible. Tristan Thompson at least is a vet that can shoot a little bit. So like, there are ways to like, I think, have an edge on this slate and capitalize. Like, for instance, Buddy Hield. Well, Buddy Hield, he could randomly start and get more minutes. Also, they can mix him in before. And do you know something about Buddy Hield? Buddy Hield used to be on the Pelicans. That's who drafted him. Where was Alvin Gentry? Alvin Gentry was
good call. That's a really good call. I could see it because he has the big contract too, right? Big contract.
Yeah, he's 5.3K. And I just pulled it up real quick. Where are the Sixers in 3-pointers this year allowed? Well, they're at 24th in the league. They're not good at it. 36.3% is what they are.
That's a gem. I like that gem you just dug up for us.
So yeah, 5.3K. Buddy Hield is a great play. He's one of the better 3-point shooters in the league, as shocking as it sounds. He's just in that Luke Walton doghouse. And I'll tell you what, Gentry ain't putting him in the doghouse. I like Buddy Hield a lot. I think he's a really, really strong play the more I look at him. I think Richaun Holmes, another one. He's a cheap guy that I think I want to take advantage of. I love him in this spot. Harrison Barnes, now he could go the other way, Hoop. He was like Luke Walton's boy. It could go the other way and start being really poor for him.
Should go the other way.
Price, but that could go badly, right, Hoop?
Yeah, should go the other way. I mean, Harrison
played
Barnes,
well.
He has been productive.
Well, he's played well because Luke Walton has designed an offense where he says, I want Harrison Barnes to shoot 8 3-pointers a game.
Yeah. So
I don't know if that's in Alvin Gentry's hand.
Stat-wise, he's been productive, but I mean, to me, you apply the eye test, and he's a guy that is just not going to be he's not going to win you basketball games. And yes, he can go out there and score you the points, and it's been productive. He has been productive, but he's productive in ways where it doesn't correlate to wins.
Yeah. Keep going, Mango.
No, yeah, I was gonna say your boy Tyrese Halliburton might get a little bit more run. And also, you could see the Metu experience like not be like the experience to go to anymore. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if you end up seeing Holmes at the 5, You see Barnes at the 4, you see Buddy at the 3, Halliburton at the 2, Fox is the 1 to start the game. And then what you see Gentry do is he pulls one of these guys out early, and then he really staggers his lineups properly and then closes out with that 5, which is how you're supposed to run a basketball team. So I think that's what you're going to see here with the Kings. And I think when you play these guys, you want to make sure to get exposure. I know we talked about it a lot and it's kind of going overboard, but on the other side, Furkan Korkmaz, he is not afraid to shoot. That's what I want. I want guys like that. And he will chuck the ball up. Steph Curry will chuck the ball up at his price. I think Tyrese Maxey is a bit too expensive for my liking. Georges Niang, one of the better values on the slate. And Andre Drummond, we discussed it. I think he's a good play, but there are a lot of centers to play on this slate.
Man, going, that was one hell of a breakdown. Got some good gems for us. People in chat are saying it too. It's a game I absolutely love. Yeah, I mean, 7.6K is the most expensive player on the Kings. Like De'Aaron Fox, 7.6. This game has one of the highest over-unders. Now we expect minutes to be more condensed. Like, this game is really, really fun as a late-night hammer for sure. I'll have a lot. It's about time to get into the plays of the day, though. The likes, 280 likes, 520 watching. Definitely, guys did the job. Would love to see 300 before we get out of here, but we appreciate it for sure. We're going to get into the plays of the day, and I'm going to go with myself first, man, going, because there was a reason I didn't mention little Tyrese Halliburton action, and that's because I was saving him for the SO play of the day. My boy, Tyrese Halliburton, I've been waiting to play him all year. Couldn't because of Luke Walton and Davion Mitchell and stuff back in the equation, but 5.9K. He has a ton of upside. I'm expecting him to play mid-30s minutes, and in fast-paced games, his stock upside, he's very long, great defender. He has the steals. He can score. Tyrese Halliburton is the SO play of the day at 5.9K in the game I absolutely love. Mangone, I'll go over to you. Who is your sunglasses, shades play of the day?
Yeah, it might have to be like the Top Gun run, right? Everyone's using the Top Gun run.
Okay, little Top Gun play of the day for us. Who you got?
But it's going to be Buddy Hield, who I just discussed. I mean, I wanted to be one of these Kings, and I thought about making it Holmes, but my issue with Holmes, and this will have lower ownership, so in terms, if you want to take a shot, it's fine. Center is just so deep, and I like the idea with Buddy Hield. We can mix and match him, right, at the guard and forward position, and the ownership is still pretty low. It's probably going to be around like, I don't know, 8 to 12%, but I think Buddy Hield has just so much upside at that price. He can get 50, like, it's rare to find a guy at 5.3K that has 50-point upside, and he certainly can do that. It's in his cards if he gets hot, and he knows the system, and he might get leaned on a little bit more with Alvin Gentry there, like I said. So I love Buddy Hield. Give me him as my play of the day.
I love it. And before people ask in chat, yes, you can play Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield together. 5'9", 5'3". The minutes are going to be there. We're going to be playing 76ers on the other side, so definitely can play both of those. And then one before I get to hoop, someone asked about, like, is Marvin Bagley going to get burned now and stuff? I assume, but like, he's 4'8". Like, that's something you do take the wait and see approach. You definitely don't play him. You wait to see that. Who knows what's going to go on? I mean, Luke, I assume, yes, he should get run. Take a wait and see approach on that. Get ahead of the curve on Alvin Gentry and what he's going to do with the minutes in the game. So that's how I'm approaching it. Hoop, the rich parents play of the day. Cap it off for us.
Yeah, I'm sticking to the same game with my boys. I mean, I was going to go here. I love the Mangone. I love the gems he dug up on Buddy Hield. I mean, I think he's a phenomenal play. I mean, definitely in tournaments. I mean, potentially in cash. Like,
he's cash viable at 5'3".
5'3". He's going to get run. Like, and his style of play definitely suits DK with all the threes and whatnot. But I'm sticking with the Kings too, and I kind of had this guy pegged early on. Rashawn Holmes, 6.1K. Drummond on the other side. They're going to need his body out there. Drummond doesn't play much defense. He should have his way on the offensive end. Love Rashawn Holmes at 6.1K. I love our approach here with these Kings. I mean, I just really think they're going to lean on these guys: Fox, Halliburton, Holmes, Hield. I think that's going to be their core 4 guys tonight that Gentry kind of leans on. So love the trio of Kings guys here for the plays of the day.
Also, KPJ ruled out. The Up the Lock show will take care of it, though. So we're running.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, Isaiah Stewart suspended 2 games. LeBron.
What? LeBron gets 1 game and Stewart gets 2? Oh, you got to be kidding.
I knew that would get hoop going.
The NBA is that's embarrassing. That's absolutely embarrassing.
Hey, before the chat absolutely gets rolling, before a hoop goes on his tangent,
I'm gonna go off. Yeah, you gotta roll.
Hit the like on your way out. We about 300. We're almost there. KPJ is out. SGA news we might get on the Up to Lock show too. Cape Alec, JSU, Holden it might be. I don't know exactly, but make sure to check out the Up to Lock show. The promo code is RPS Heater 25. get you 25% off. Hit the like on your way out. I see steam coming out of hoops here. So it's time for us to go for Hoop, Mangone, myself, Title Town. Good luck, everybody.